And we're continuing to follow a developing story out of Tuscaloosa, Alabama this morning. Our Fox affiliate in Birmingham is reporting that 17 people have been shot at Copper Top Bar in downtown Tuscaloosa. And we begin this morning with a developing story. 2 bodies found in a North Mississippi home have been identified as a missing Tennessee mother and her daughter.
With Fox 40 anchor C.E. Huffman, he joins us live from the murder scene with the very latest. C.E., what can you tell us?
You know, Joy, police were called here to the Colony Park Apartments in Pearl just after 11, and we're just off Pearson Road, not too far from the interstate, and officers were responding to a routine search of possible arrest. That led to 2 officers being injured and 2 men, both on opposite sides of the law, dead.
Oh my gosh, stop running, put your hands down. And then me and my roommate, we went to go get each other, and we ended up running to each other in the hall. We came back out, we opened our blinds, police officers was like, back away from y'all windows.
And that was how this neighbor learned that a police shootout was taking place in a secluded, otherwise quiet neighborhood. It was an investigation of child porn and warrant to arrest 30-year-old Carnell Gaines Jr. on charges of sexual battery that brought police to his home, tucked in the very back of this complex.
Investigating officers obtained a search warrant, entered apartment after nobody would come to the door.
When police entered, Gaines was in the bathtub and wouldn't respond to officers' commands. The officers then decided they would have to tase Gaines to arrest him. It was then the lives of all of these officers and a small-town police department would change forever.
The individual in the bathtub raised the firearm and shot the 2 officers.
Officers were able, though, to shoot back at Gaines, killing him at the scene. All right, we're following breaking news at 7:41. It's happening right now. We're getting a look at the June jobs report just released from the federal government. It looks like U.S. employers added only 80,000 jobs in June. That's a 3rd straight month of weak hiring, which shows the economy is still struggling. It was here just past mile marker 25, going east on Interstate 20, just outside of Bolton, that a traffic stop early Monday morning led to one of the biggest drug busts in Hinds County Sheriff's Department history. What lessons have you learned from working closely with Governor Barber that you're going to take and put in place? But get this, if you're driving along and another vehicle manages to knock a piece of rock off the ground and onto your windshield, you're responsible. I've done it a couple of times, Angela. I'm just going to throw it out there. Talk about the gun show.
Can you wear a muscle shirt for us one day?
One day, maybe. Next year. New developments tonight involving the deadly hit and run of a Jackson man. The family of James Craig Anderson has now filed a lawsuit over the alleged hate crime. The city of Jackson showed their complete dedication to Breast Cancer Awareness Month. The man is still at UMC with life-threatening injuries this morning. At 7:05, we turn now to former Governor Haley Barbour's decision to pardon over 200 convicted state felons. So, have you ever been driving on the interstate or one of the highways and you see a big truck pass you up, and then all of a sudden it gets in front of you, and then you hear this sound? You look up and then you see that mark. As communities across Mississippi cry out for answers, lawmakers at the state capitol want to work to make sure that this never happens again. And then the summer months come in and they start to look something more like this. You talked with the Hinds County District Attorney about the new civil lawsuit filed by Anderson's family. Has he said anything about the 5 other teens named in that lawsuit? Now, at Monday night's school board meeting, it was decided that Dr. Sargent's contract will look very similar to that of Dr. Lonnie Edwards. Road work tops tonight's headlines. It causes many headaches for your commute. Beth Israel congregation is celebrating a milestone, 150 years in this community. Lumpkins Barbecue here. Monique is here, and she brought some tall man with her today. I'm going to bring you on over here. I don't know who this man is, but you done brought into our kitchen.
I brought my wonderful husband Melvin with us
All
today.
right, well, it's nice to meet you. I have to bump Melvin here because he's getting ready to show us the proper way to carve up a turkey. So I want to pull in because I want to talk to you about this story because it's one of my favorite that I've ever reported on. The world's heaviest living woman says that sex with her ex-husband has had an unexpected benefit: weight loss. Pauline Potter credits sex for helping her shed 98 pounds. I'm focusing on the capital city's murder rate, which is on the rise. This morning, I take you to the most dangerous area and speak with folks who live and work there. You'll also hear what police say is the answer to ending the violence. It starts on January 12th in a wooded area just off South Dixon Road. Sherelle Harris Shaw is found dead from a gunshot wound. And every month after, a person in Jackson is murdered, leading up to the latest situation in the driveway of a home on Superior Street, located in Midtown Jackson. Laquan Rogers was shot to death over what authorities suspect was an argument. This makes 43 murders for the city of Jackson. That's a 20% increase from last year, and there are still 6 weeks left in the year. There were only 35 murders last year. The most dangerous areas for murders, Jackson's Police Precinct 1. This area in South Jackson has seen 14 murders so far this year, a 180% increase from last year. Only 5 murders were committed here in 2010, the lowest for the city. So what has changed to cause this increase?
Nothing except that that's where they occurred.
But for the folks who live and work in this area, these numbers don't worry them.
When I wake up every morning, I leave out the house, I pray, and I always ask God for a shield of protection around me and my place of business.
Owner of Adrian Faith Salon Services, Delisha Mallett, told me she's lived in the area her whole life and doesn't feel threatened.
You do have to pay attention to your surroundings, and just 2 doors down is Precinct 1, and they're constantly coming back and forth in the front and behind my business all day long, so I'm really not scared at all.
But over in Precinct 4, things are completely different. This area in northeast Jackson has seen a 50% decrease in the murder rate, along with a 25% decrease in northwest Jackson's Precinct 3. The only other area to see a spike in murders is Precinct 2 in central Jackson, a 50% increase so far this year. Unfortunately for everyone, Jackson police are seeing a trend that creates a difficult task.
The type of shootings that we have are impromptu, so to speak. Very difficult to predict, therefore very difficult to prevent.
D.P. Tolliver is a barber at Adrian Faith and a father of 4. He just moved out of South Jackson, but doesn't seem to think it matters where you live.
If something gonna happen, it's gonna happen. If it's meant to happen, it's gonna happen, no matter where you at.
And for one customer, that statement is very true.
You never know what's out there, you know, and when I got carjacked, it made me aware of my surroundings.
So, how will the rising murder trend be stopped?
The answers to those questions go beyond the walls of this police department. That's a community problem. That's a people problem. We're going to have to work with individuals within our community to try to show them other ways to resolve conflict.